The purpose of this channel is to bring you the latest information and important updates to the Commonwealth. I also want to raise awareness and bring education of the stigma that is in the cannabis community. You can all help make the Commonwealth and beyond a great place to be a cannabis patient or a responsible adult use user. Please help this channel by giving me a share, a like, and subscribe to help make this channel grow. You can also click the notification bell to be notified of the latest content. This channel is intended for medical cannabis users 18 and over and adult users 21 and over. Please medicate and consume responsibly. Welcome to Virginia Cannabis Connection. I'm your guy on the couch, Joe Parsons. Let's get into it with the news. We'll start in Virginia. Last week, a bill was introduced into the House of Delegates by Delegate Paul Kreisig. The Sales Legalization Bill, HB 698, is a step forward to allow retail sale of cannabis for the adult use market. Currently, there is no adult use retail market in the Commonwealth due to a lack of support by the Virginia GOP. This bill could open doors for the future of the industry in Virginia. It is unclear if the governor will veto this bill or not. A similar bill died in the GOP majority House of Delegates last year. The governor has not shown much interest in the retail side of the industry and has been quite vocal on his opposition. I'll be following this story and continue to bring you the latest updates as they arise. In national news, cannabis has met the criteria for reclassification as a lower-risk drug. The FDA posted online Friday to recommend rescheduling cannabis because it now meets the following three criteria: a lower potential for abuse than other substances on Schedules 1 and 2. 2. A currently accepted medical use in the treatment in the United States. 3. A low risk of low or moderate dependence in people who abuse it. The National Institute for Drug Abuse concurs with this recommendation. I would like to recognize Michigan as the latest state to enact laws to protect workers from pre-employment THC screening. At least 9 other states in the recreational legal states, and 22 of the 38 medical cannabis states, have established employment protections for adult use consumers. It's definitely a step in the right direction, and I look forward to similar protections coming to the Commonwealth of Virginia. Finally, in world news, in a move backwards, Thailand now moves to ban recreational cannabis use, only 18 months after a very historic win for Asia. Thailand was the first in Asia to allow cannabis for recreational use. Even though it was a major boost to Thailand's tourism and its local markets, a new conservative coalition government came to power late last year and vowed to tighten the rules and only allow cannabis for medical use only. The draft bill was released on Tuesday by the Health Ministry. Thailand's Prime Minister made it a pledge in September to rectify the laws on cannabis within the next 6 months. That's all for today's cannabis news. Now it's time for my pot topic. Canna-racism or Canna-intolerance? You decide. There are many definitions for the word racism. I find that Oxford's is the most universal. Number 1, the unfair treatment of people who belong to a different race, violent behavior towards them. Number 2, the belief that there are different races of people with different characteristics and abilities, and that some races are better than others. A general belief about a whole group of people based on their race. There are also many different definitions to the word intolerance, but again, Oxford has a pretty simple and clear definition. An unwillingness to accept views, beliefs, or behavior that differ from one's own. The stigma that affects the cannabis community has roots in both of these. While it would be unfair to call anyone who doesn't support cannabis reform or legalization intolerant or racist, it would be fair to say that many people who oppose reform are basing their opinions on either what they've seen on the media or through their social groups. Cannabis patients and responsible adult users come in every race, gender definition, creed, and religion. I personally would parlay with every one of them. Cannabis users form a bond with one another that has a way of breaking barriers and bringing people together. Yet we all have to deal with the same stereotypes, name-calling, contempt, and being made to feel less human by non-cannabis using people. To them, we're just potheads, stoners, wastoids, junkies, or even reefers. From years of miseducation and stigma that led to the 1970 ban on cannabis, to the start of relegalization, people have made their own decisions and have passed it down to their friends, family, and co-workers. It's going to take years to repair the damage and undo the negativity that surrounds both medical and adult users. However, many states are starting to enact laws to protect both medical and adult users. Many sporting franchises have removed cannabis from their drug screening results, with the latest being the MMA. Sadly, even in states that have started to protect our rights, any employer can still maintain a drug-free workplace, and they can set whatever standards or whatever policies that they wish. Even worse, an employer that isn't required to test for THC to hire you can turn right around and retest you and promptly fire you for the use of THC. That's where the stigma comes back into play, and we get thrown right into the closet again. For years, the go-to job for cannabis supporters was either restaurants, convenience stores, manual labor, pretty much any lousy job. Then the jobs that you get will become selective once you get hired. For example, cannabis patients can wash dishes, bus food, or even serve for most restaurants. But when it comes time for management, when it comes time for that big promotion, you had better either quit or live a lie because you're no longer welcomed. When most employers discover you support cannabis, you go from that excellent employee you once were to Jim Brewer. With the cannabis industry expanding and activists like myself trying to get more employers to revise their outdated policies and outdated attitudes towards cannabis, especially cannabis patients. It's one thing to be the occasional weekend user or social cannabis user, but when it's truly your medicine, it's totally unfair to not have the same opportunities as non-cannabis people, especially when you're just as qualified. It's time to let our politicians know that we need more employment protections. It's time we let our voices come together as one group of people with the same beliefs and the same views. We need to let people know that we won't go back to washing dishes. We won't be afraid to speak openly without fear of retribution or being either demoted or terminated, solely because you either need cannabis as a medicine or just live in an adult use state where it's legal. So join me as I continue to spread the word and get more people involved. This is just the tip of the iceberg of the stigma that surrounds our cannabis community. But we have to start now. That's all my time for today. Join me for my next pot topic, the 4 Ps of the cannabis industry. Thanks, and until next time, stay lifted, my friends.